Hi there, this is Crystal and I'm back with another spread in my 2018 Highlights Traveler's Notebook. Yes, that's right, 2018, and I'm still working in it. It's taken me a really long time to get this finished and I'm not entirely sure why, but I am determined to get it finished. So I am up to September. You can see that this notebook is getting rather chunky. So it's going to be pretty hard to work in the notebook itself, which is why I'm thinking of doing my work outside of the notebook and then just kind of gluing it in. I have a photo. We took a trip to Michigan in September of 2018, and that's what this photo is from. I had originally thought I would print one full size, but I already had this one printed and my computer is currently throwing some kind of tantrum and not wanting me to do anything with it. So I'm just gonna go with this and it'll be fine. I'm sure I will make it work. And then for supplies, I have some bits and pieces from February's Hip Kit. So these are all just kind of scraps that I have left from February's main kit. And then I have a couple Project Life cards from the March Pocket Life kit. And then I have some embellishments from both of those kits as well. So that's what I'm gonna be playing with. I'm going to put you on fast forward and get started. So I'm going to start by building some layers around my photo. Like I said, the notebook is really chunky, so I'm just going to be working outside of the notebook to start. And I could have cut just like a piece of copy paper to the size of the notebook and built everything on that, but I didn't think of that at the moment. I was just playing with layers, so I end up just building the layers and then adding the whole thing into the book. And I will have to adjust a little bit for size, obviously, since I didn't have a guide to go by, but it works out fine. So I have some layers behind my photo, and now I'm working on something to cover the other side with. So I used that Pink Fresh Studio from Joyful Day. It has kind of like leaves or ferns all over it, but I really picked it for the colors. This is a photo taken in Michigan while we were camping at Sleeping Bear Dunes. And so the ferns and leaves really do kind of work with the theme of the photo. Although this particular photo is a bit different than just camping, which you will see in a little bit when I add the journaling. So I'm just kind of adding everything together. Again, not paying attention to how wide the whole thing is, so I will have to make some adjustments here in a minute, but I like the way that looks. I like the text paper behind all the layers, and it doesn't quite go the full length of the page, so there's a little bit of a white border above and below it, and then the darker blue paper that kind of separates the photo from that white text paper, and then the lighter blue Pocket Life card on the right side. And I did kind of gut that because it's just a Pocket Life card, that's all I have of it. I wasn't sure if I would want to add some of it to the other side of the page as well, so I just cut out the part that you aren't going to be able to see behind the photo, and then that also cuts down a little bit on the bulk. It's not overlapping those other layers, so it's just a tiny bit less bulky. So on this other side, I want to use that polka dot Pocket Life card from the March kit as my base for my embellishments and my journaling, but I want to add this little 2x2 square. This was from one of the Pink Fresh Studio Joyful Day cut apart sheets, but I want it to be a circle, so I'm just grabbing some circle punches and trying to figure out which one I want to use. And because it's a 2x2 square and it's super hard to deal with in those punches, I just cut a tiny strip of just copy paper and adhered it to the back, and then I can move that around. I have something to hold on to while I'm trying to punch it, and it works like a dream every time. It's super simple, and it just peels off when you're done. So as long as you aren't using a super strong permanent adhesive, this one is the one I have is a Dot Runner, and it's removable at first. It does eventually adhere completely, but yeah, so it works great. That's a good tip if you have something that you want to punch but is too small to get into the punch without a handle, essentially. So like I said, I've basically decided that I want that polka dot card as the basis for all of my embellishing and my title and my journaling. So now I'm just playing around with embellishments and trying to decide how I want to build the embellishments on this side of the page and then on the other side as well. So because that little card that I punched into a circle has some florals on it, has pink and yellow florals, I decided to add pink accents to the page. So I added a little kind of ticket shape from this Pinkfresh Studio sticker sheet. This is also from Joyful Day, also from the February Hip Kit. It said Life Adventures, and I add that ticket to the top rather of the left side of the page above my photo. And that's going to tie in the pink on both sides of the page. And now I'm just thinking about what other pieces I want to use and how I want to build the layers. So I'm going to play around with this for quite a bit, just trying to get everything exactly the way I want it. I added that label piece that says be present, but I don't really want the sentiment. I just really wanted the label as a kind of base, a grounding for that embellishment cluster at the bottom of that journal card. So I'm going to just cover it up with a bunch of other embellishments, and I'm going to play around with that again for quite a while before I end up deciding on a final version of it. I did grab the exclusive die cut ephemera pack from the March kit from Hip Kit Club. And I'm just going through it to see what bits and pieces I might want to use. I'm picking out things that are basically in the color scheme that I've chosen, which is blues with a pink accent. So I found that rose that has gold foil on it, and I thought about using that. That does not end up on the page, but the other pieces do. So there was a little phrase strip that says just letting go, and a little blue butterfly. Both of those do end up making it to the final page. So I moved that that circle that I punched to the top of the page and ended up covering up the florals that I was using to pull that pink from anyway. But it works. I do like the way it ends up looking, but you in the end aren't going to be able to see those florals at all. I still like the pink accents though, so it was a good jumping off point at least. So I definitely need some of that pink color at the top of the page, so I grabbed another little banner, and I don't remember what it said, but you can't see that in the final spread. I just used it to layer that just letting go die cut on top of. So again, just looking through the rest of the embellishments that were in these kits to see what else I can add, see what else works. So I ended up going with a pink that was a little bit more corally than I had started with originally. So I had to pull off, it was bothering me, the two didn't work together, and the dissonance between them, I guess, was bothering me. So I ended up going with embellishments that were a bit more corally than that bright pink. And there are lots of things in both of those colors on this sticker sheet, so it wasn't hard to switch them out for something else. So I'm thinking about my title now, and I want to use those Pinkfresh Studio Alpha. They're a puffy Alpha sticker, but I'm just not sure what the title is going to be yet. So while I'm thinking of that, I'm going to go ahead and add some stamps. These are stamps from Citrus Twist Kits, I believe, and I'm just testing out a couple different inks. I know I want to use a navy ink, and I have a couple different options, one from Hero Arts and another one from, I can't remember the name of it. It's a VersaFine, I think, or VersaMagic, that's the word, VersaMagic ink. I end up going with that one. It just stamped a little bit more crisp, I guess. And I stamped Together We Make a Family on that little label tab that I added to the bottom of the left side of the page. And then I'm going to move this other 2x2 square from the Pinkfresh Studio cut apart sheet to the top of the left side of the page instead of the top of the right side of the page. And I like how that cluster looks now, so I'm going to start gluing things together. So I have that little label that I cut from one of those 2x2 squares, the circle that I punched from a different 2x2 square, the Just Letting Go die cut from the Hip Kit Club exclusive die cut pack, and then that little pink banner, and that is going to basically make that top cluster. I do end up adding a few just enamel hearts in the end. So for my title, I've decided on this place. So this is a photo of Lake Michigan at one of our favorite beaches at Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. And we are actually saying goodbye to our dog at this moment. So it was his favorite place on earth. So we lost him in 2017, at the end of 2017. And this is obviously September of 2018. So we made a trip back and said our final goodbyes to him. So even though this notebook is about the highlights from my year, and it's mostly happy things, I really wanted September's layout to be about this moment, because it was a highlight in a different kind of way, I guess. It was definitely the most memorable part of my September. So anyway, not to get too emotional or anything, but I wanted to let you know what this page is about. So I just decided to use this place, and then I'm going to add an arrow below that title, just pointing to the picture. So I've got that mostly done. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the right side down to the backing, to the notebook itself. And I think I only have a couple things left to do. I'm going to date stamp it. So throughout this notebook, almost on every page, I've been using the Ellie's Studio dated stamp to just mark the month and the year. So I'm going to do that here as well. And I'm going to add it to the top right corner of the page. Oh, but first I'm going to add some of those, they're not enamel, they're epoxy hearts from the Hip Kit Club March main kit. I love these so much. They are just the perfect little accent to basically every page I've created since I got this kit. So I'm just going to add some hearts in blues and pinks, and that's a great final touch for the page. So I have my journaling. I just typed it up on my typewriter and use some scrap paper to do that. And now I'm going to just cut it into strips, and then I will adhere those to the bottom of the left side, or I'm sorry, the right side of the page. And then that's it, just adding the date stamp, and that's going to be it for this page. So there's a little bit left of the video, and there are some close-up photos at the end, but I am going to leave you here to just watch the rest of it on your own. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It means a lot to me. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. And I will see you all back here very soon. Bye-bye.